city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome aboard to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Quill. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. As always, Jake's at the wheel, keeping things on the track. Hope you're ready to get started here on this midday or midweek edition of Indiana Sports Beat. On the program today, Matt Weaver from Peegs.com. We're going to prep Big Ten football media days. See what's going on. Matt was on vacation last week. Get a good chance to catch up with him. Also on the program today, our good friend Todd Leary is going to join us since we'll be in Chicago for Big Ten football media days the next 2 days. Todd normally joins us on Fridays, but we'll have him jump in today instead. And we're greatly appreciative as always. So I hope your day's going well. Hey, before I forget, if you're in the wherever you are, Bloomington area or otherwise, but especially the Bloomington area, looking for a home, looking for a place, Ryan Shaddy. That's who you need to find. Talk about talk to Tucker. Talk to Tucker and talk to Ryan Shaddy. He will get you taken care of anytime. We'll be having his commercials here running soon, but just wanted to throw that out. He's a Bloomington guy, man. He's an IU guy. Remember that. Take care of those who take care of you. Ryan Shaddy helps bring you this content. He helps Indiana Sports Beat give you the coverage from the Big Ten media days and all that as well. So make sure you take care of those who take care of you. Just like the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, no better place than to hit around, man. The freaking course, it looks like Augusta out there. Tony V has done an amazing job getting things in line. It's crazy how good that course looks. It's awesome. And don't forget about our good friends down at Reynolds Family Dentistry. If you're in Southern Indiana, Clarksville, New Albany, Sellersburg, check out Dr. J. Another IU supporter, IU guys, they bring you the content. Help those and help you. Don't forget about that. Hope your day's off to a good start. We got a lot to get to, man. Last night in baseball, I don't know if you're paying. The Cubs and the Reds are playing right now. And the Reds were my team growing up. The Big Red Machine, all that. So I hate to see them go down last night, but if it's going to happen, man, it happened in pretty nice fashion with Kyle Schwarber hitting another Schwarbomb, a walk-off homer in the 10th to give the Cubs I think it was a 4-3 win. Somebody texted it or posted that was a weak home run because it barely got out. I don't care. Is there any such thing as a weak home run, especially at Wrigley? Those wind circles, like a cyclone up there. So congratulations to Schwarber. I think that was his 21st home run of the season now. But I posted he hit his 20th the night before, and I noted that this is the third consecutive season Kyle Schwarber has hit 20 or more homers. He's only the 9th outfielder in the history of the Cubs to ever do that. So Schwarbs is rolling on. Hits a walk-off last night to give the Cubs a win. It gives them picks a game back up that they had dropped to the Reds the night before. So I don't know if that series is finished now or not. Disappointing if it is. We'll be arriving in Chicago tonight, as a matter of fact. As heading up there for the Big Ten Media Days, we'll be coming to you live from Chicago the next couple of days, starting tomorrow. Tom Allen will be with us tomorrow, so make sure you're on board for that. We never know what we're going to end up with up there, so just hang on. But the baseball, man, that was a great deal for Schwarber last night. Alex Dickerson is another former Hoosier who's just killing it. I think he had 4 hits in his game last night. He's with the San Francisco Giants. Just went over there a few weeks back. But ever since he went over there, he has absolutely been sticking it. I'll have to pull up his average right now, but man, he was hitting like 400. He's hitting like 400 since he got there. He was. But 4 big hits last night. I think he had the game-winning run as well. So a big night for a couple of Hoosiers on the diamond last night. Excuse me, in Major League Baseball. But, man, Alex Dickerson is just really on fire. Congratulations to him. It's just a great move for him going to San Francisco. And it somehow reignited a fire in him, but he's had a couple of seasons injury plagued here of late. And this is the first time he's been healthy in a while. And man, does it make a difference. Killing the ball. Before I forget, also, if you live in the Evansville area, you have an opportunity to get a little closer to Indiana basketball. Next month, Archie Miller is heading to Harrison High School. He'll be in the Shoulders Family Commons there at Harrison High School. This is on August 27th, and it's free to the public. All you have to do is show up. So Archie will be at Harrison High School at Shoulders Family Commons, August 27th. That's at 6 o'clock is when he's scheduled to appear. The doors will open at 5:30. So make sure you check that out. That nice opportunity. I think this would be the first public appearance by Archie Miller in Evansville. Now, I know that he may have been down there for a game covering Christian Lander, but as far as an appearance, this is his first in Evansville, in the Evansville area. So check that out. Again, that's August 27th, Shoulders Family Commons at Harrison High School. 6 o'clock, doors open at 5:30. So there you go. There's an opportunity. We'll mention that again in the next hour, but we'll be down there as a matter of fact. Todd Leary will be there. Pat Graham might be there. Want to talk to him, see if he's coming, but it'll be a good night. Looking forward to it. So you got that going now. Nick Westbrook named. He does a lot of great things. This young man does, and he's been amply rewarded with a nomination to the Good Hands Award. He's one of the kids that'll be one of the students that will be at the Big Ten Media Days with IU. One of the three, Coy Kurunk, the others. But we and also Stevie Scott. I think we mentioned it. He's on the Maxwell list. I think we talked about that yesterday. We have Anthony Thompson, the former Hoosier, won the Maxwell Award back in 1989. He also won a lot of other things too, man. He almost won the Heisman. Should have won the Heisman. That had stolen from him. Andre Ware ended up getting it. Just disappointed me. The only reason Anthony Thompson did not win the Heisman, the only reason I think, is because Indiana lost the last game to Purdue. That gave them a losing record. It was one of the closest Heisman races in Heisman history, but he was on a losing team. He would have been only the second person ever to win the Heisman from a losing team. The only other from another Indiana college, that would have been Paul Hornung, the Golden Boy from Notre Dame back in the 50s, who went on to greatness with the Green Bay Packers. But Anthony Thompson, unfortunately, was on a losing team and narrowly missed winning the Heisman. And there's no doubt in my mind it was because he was on a losing team and they didn't beat Purdue in that last game. That's a shame. That would have been incredible because he deserved it. The things he did, it's just like a couple years ago when Tevin Coleman, to me, got shafted. Tevin Coleman goes for 2,000 yards, only the 18th time in college football history that it happened. He didn't even get an invite to New York for the top 5 of the Heisman. Are you kidding me? They had 2 guys from Oklahoma, but you can't give a guy who did something that's rarely been done, that is still doing it in the NFL today, on a team that was mediocre at best against great teams in the Big Ten. He was doing it against the Big Ten East, the toughest division in all of college football, but yet it didn't deserve an invite. Crazy. Anthony Thompson did the same thing. He was on an Indiana team doing this against Michigan and Ohio State and all that. Should have won it. A little early morning rant for you. How about that? But he's named to the Maxwell Award list, Stevie Scott, as a sophomore. Great campaign as a freshman, 1,100 yards. That's another reason why I'm high. I'm bullish on this offense, man. I'm bullish on the IU football team this year. That offense is just primed for success because you bring in the X factor, Kalen DeBoer. I posted something, I think it was yesterday. It was talking about the top hires by coordinators in college football for the upcoming season. Top new ones. It gave the top 35 that were coming in, and Kalen Bohr was listed at number 15. That's pretty good, and I think that it's definitely going to show. Wherever he's been, he's increased the point production by at least 10 points a game. At Fresno State, first season he was there, a 10-point per game increase. That's a lot. Everywhere he's been, he's done that. And it's not a fluke. He's done it everywhere he's gone to. And I think he's going to do great things in Indiana. Not only the article goes on to say Indiana wasn't shy about its commitment to DeBoer, athletic director Fred Glass and Tom Allen made him the highest paid coordinator in program history. While the cost was steep, DeBoer was worth the investment. After a 67-3 stint as the head coach at Sioux Falls, that was from 2005 to 09, 67-3 was his record as the head coach there. The South Dakota native then became the play caller at Southern Illinois and Eastern Michigan. The Eagles averaged 18 points a game the year prior to DeBoer's arrival, but that increased to 29.6, basically 30 points a game, almost double the following season. 14-point increase. Next season, that's 2 touchdowns. That's 2 touchdowns. How many games did Indiana lose last year by a touchdown or less? And that was a mediocre Indiana team. That was an Indiana team that was okay at quarterback, but not great. That's not this Indiana team. DeBoer spent the last 2 seasons working with Jeff Tedford at Fresno State. Under DeBoer's watch, the Bulldogs increased their scoring average by 10 points from 2016 to 17. They averaged 34 points a game last fall. When I posted that, I said Indiana fans can expect to see a lot more points on the boards and consequently more wins. And I firmly believe that. I believe that at a minimum, Indiana's going to win 7 games this year. That means they're going to have to take care of business at home against teams like Northwestern from the West that'll come over. Of course, you've got to take care of Maryland and Rutgers, but that should not be a problem. But they've got to find a win over a team they're not supposed to beat. Whether that is in Lincoln, Nebraska, or if it's in West Lafayette, or if it's at home against Michigan or Ohio State. Yeah, I know that's crazy because it hadn't happened in such a long time. I was here the last time it happened. But it has been close. The last two times Michigan has visited Memorial Stadium, they left with wins, but not the easy way. Both came via overtime. Indiana should have won both those games. I've said that 1,000 times. Last year, Indiana at Ohio State played them pretty tough. The year before that, they were leading Ohio State into the third quarter. Neither of those teams were as good as this one. It's going to be the biggest key to this team to me, of course, the offensive line, but is his defense. How much has the defense improved? And the fact that Tom Allen is there, and I know he's not the DC anymore, that he relinquished that job to Coach Womack, but he's still there. His influence is still there. His demeanor is there, and that may be enough. You can't not want to play for Tom Allen. Hell, I want to play for Tom Allen. Hell, when I'm around him, I'm ready to suit up. So But the defense still has to improve. They have to start creating things. And I remember something that he said 2 years ago after the Michigan loss, because there were some suspect calls. They weren't suspect. Hell, they were bad calls that probably could have cost Indiana the game. And Coach Allen was seething. I can see this as fresh as right now. But his answer was, you have to earn those calls. And I know what he means. Even though you're at home, it's Indiana versus Michigan. And that's what the officials see. And it wasn't just that game. I saw it. We've seen it in other games. You have to earn those calls. This year, I think they earn those calls. I think that they do. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Looking forward to Big Ten Media Days, man. It starts tomorrow. You got IU Media Days coming up on August 1st. It's all rolling around. It's getting close. Getting close. Hey, we got a lot to get to on the program today. Like I said, Matt Weaver, a good buddy from Peegs.com. He's going to join us, back fresh from vacation. Also, our good buddy Todd Leary, the Todd father. He'll join us as well. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming up here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat. Back with more right after this.
Something I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural. You must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Tuesday. Trying to stay out of the way of Hurricane Barry. I think it's headed our way, eventually. Well, before then, we've got Hurricane Trey with us. Trey Galloway from Culver Academy. Trey, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. How's it been? A great summer for you?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really good.
Man, this stuff keeps you guys busy. I have a daughter that plays travel soccer and always gone, always practicing, always working out. It is a grind for you guys, and I know it is a grind, but you've got so much more going on because you've got this recruiting process and all these people like me talking to you and all that stuff. That's got to weigh on you. You're a teenager. I mean, you're supposed to be having fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely time consuming, but it keeps me busy and keeps me going to keep wanting to do more. And it's fun being able to travel with the guys that I like to travel with, and like being with my teammates. It's been fun to go to because we're going to LA tomorrow, so that'll be super fun to get to go out there and travel with them.
Yeah, I saw the brackets breaking out. I was like, man, those games are coming up. I said, that's tomorrow. I was like, wow. And that just adds to it. You just got off of the Adidas Gauntlet Tour over the weekend down in Alabama. Yeah. You had a great weekend, by the way. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
But then you turn around and you go to LA. I mean, of course, it's got to be a lot of fun. I mean, you're a teenager, so you got endless energy. But that does have to be a lot of fun getting to travel to all these different places, a lot of these places that you haven't been before.
Oh, yes, for sure. And like I said, it's fun having the experience of going to different places and be able to see all these different areas where talented players come from and being able to play people outside the state of Indiana. It's been really a cool experience with my whole AAU career.
What's the coolest experience you've had through all this? It could be someone you've met or something you've done, but what's been the coolest thing for you?
I'd say honestly, probably in like 7th grade, when I won the national championship with my other AAU team, George Hill. When I used to play with them, we were in North Carolina. We won it there, so that was a pretty fun experience for me and some of the guys on my team.
You definitely that's something that was already in my mind. You're very, very level-headed, even-keeled kid. And right now you seem even more like a team player, and that comes through on the court. Is that something that you're very conscious of, that you actually work at, because it shows?
Yeah, I mean, there's 5 guys on the court at all times on the team, so if you can't work together with your team, it's not ever going to work out. So that's one thing I really try to focus on, is just getting along with guys that I'm playing with and try to go out there and compete with them for sure.
And obviously this summer you've gotten to play with a great group of talented guys, Anthony Leal, of course, Christian Lander, amongst others, but many others as well. But what's it been like playing on that team with that level of talent, all from these guys from Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really good. Just getting a feel for everybody on the team. I mean, at first me and Christian, we never really played with each other before, but it's been really good because he's a super talented player, and it's been really good to get a chance to go out there and compete with him. And obviously, Anthony Leo, we've been playing with each other for about 4 years now. So I feel like we all benefit each other with things that we do. And it's been good to just go out there and show what we got to different teams across the country.
Now, you and Anthony seem to have really developed a pretty good bond. You just mentioned you played together for 4 years. I saw the piece in the paper by Zach Osterman where Anthony went up to your home up in Culver. So
Yeah.
you guys really seem to have a great bond.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, he was at my house for the July 4th weekend. So he was here for about a week, and we got to hang out and do some stuff off the court rather than just be on the court all the time. So I feel like our relationship as friends is even off the court too as well. So we've built a pretty good relationship over the past 4 years. Like I said, it's really fun to get to know him and hang out with him for sure.
Now, both of you guys are targets from Indiana University. Both have offers from IU. And have you guys think you've talked about possibly playing together in college? Is that something that comes up much?
Yeah, we don't talk about it much, but when we do, that's definitely something that we've talked about. And we obviously know that Indiana is an option for us if we do want to play together. And I think these past years have been pretty good, and I feel like we benefit each other well on the court and off the court as friends. So I think that's a possibility for both of us for sure.
I mean, both you're very intelligent kids, and you have multiple offers from lots of different schools. What would it be like playing together at Indiana, a school that's in your home state? What would that be like for you guys?
Yeah, it'd be super cool. Just knowing that we both had the opportunity to go to the same school and represent the state of Indiana. It'd be a cool experience just to go out there and do that stuff with him for sure.
What about Indiana and Archie Miller has stood out to you so far?
Just what the one like to win. Just the way they've recruited me has really stood out to me. Coach Miller's been at all the games. I think he was at all the games this past weekend in Alabama. So just the way they're recruiting me and Anthony Leo. So it's been really cool to see how much they care and how much they really want me to be a part of their program.
Yeah, what is that? How much weight does that carry as opposed to you just looking at things on your own as, hey, I like that school because of this, but that level of the coaching and the relationship, because it seems like every recruitment, no matter what school, what sport it is, it comes down to the relationship between the player and the coach.
Yeah. Definitely one thing that I look into is to see how much they need me and how much they want me, and that definitely plays a factor into it because you obviously want to have a really good relationship with the coach if you're going to a school, and that's one thing I'm looking for is have family bond with the team and also with the coach. I feel like that's one thing that they're trying to build with me is a really good relationship, so I can build that trust if I want to go to Indiana. And that's one thing I feel like Coach Miller has really pushed towards is building a relationship with me. That's one thing that's really important for sure.
Talking with Trey Galloway from Culver Academy, one of multiple IU recruits, prospects. Now, what I know everybody in the world asks this question, and I'm sick of asking it myself, but is there a timeline that you're looking at? I mean, some guys want to get this done before school starts, some before basketball starts. They want to get out of the way, and some will wait and go through longer processes. Do you have a timeline?
Not right now. Just whenever the time feels right, I'll make my decision. But I haven't really set a base timeline. Like I said, whenever the time is right for me, whenever my heart feels is a school that I feel like I'm gonna decide to commit to. That's when I'll do it.
Now, are you done with your visits, or do you have more visits coming?
I haven't planned it yet. So once I get back from California with this last AAU tournament, I'll definitely talk with my family and see what I want to do and what I have planned next for sure.
Absolutely. Now, you got LA coming up. We've talked about that. You leave tomorrow. It booms right now. What are you looking forward to besides playing basketball, obviously? Have you been to LA before?
Yeah, I have. I was there the past 2 years, so um, it's really fun. Just being with the guys outside of basketball, because we got some downtime, to do some other stuff. So it's been cool to kind of go to some of the beaches and hang out with the guys. So it's really a fun experience on and off the court and at that tournament for sure.
Who's some of the most unique players you've met that they're not from Indiana? The guys that are outside that you've been playing against on some of these circuits, but great talent and great guys that you've run across.
Yeah, a couple of guys. Dawson Garcia, he's from Minnesota. That's one kid I found is a really really good talented player. He's also being recruited by Indiana right now, but he's really talented. Another kid, Henry Coleman from Virginia. He's kind of a more power forward, but he's super talented. I think he's got offered by Duke, but he's been a really good player that I played against for sure. So those are some of the guys that I took notice on that are really good.
And if let's just jumping in the future, let's say Indiana was your commitment, or wherever, I guess wherever, it doesn't even really matter, but wherever that school is that you decide to go to, are you going to then turn out and use these relationships to try to recruit other guys to come with you?
Yeah, that'd be the plan. That's one thing I feel like I could be pretty good as being able to attract some other guys to whatever school I go to. And that's one thing I'll definitely do if I do commit somewhere early and be able to get some guys to try to get some guys to school with me.
Besides LA, we got the tournament coming up there. What else does the rest of your summer look like, Trey?
Um, After LA, nothing much with basketball. I'm kind of done with all the tournaments, and so I'm definitely going to take this one in as my last AU tournament ever. But after that, kind of hanging out, enjoying the rest of my summer as a high school student, and kind of just focuses on getting better and getting prepared for this upcoming season.
Talk about the upcoming season. You guys have you've done okay up there at Culver. Your father's the coach. Yeah. That's kind of a unique experience in itself. I knew some guys that when I grew up that here and there their dads were the coach, but that's got to be a unique situation for you.
Yes, for sure. It's been a fun experience just having him as a coach. Because I mean, there's been some ups and downs, obviously, with it. There's been some times we got after each other, but I feel like it's been a really good fun ride, and it's gonna be a fun senior year for sure.
Yeah, you guys have had a little bit of success there for certain. What's the team look like this season?
Yeah, we lost three seniors, three really important seniors last year, but we got some young talent coming back, and we got three or four or five seniors that we've got this. So I think we're gonna have some experience and some youth, which will be really good for us to have a mixture of both. So a lot of the older guys can be able to lead the younger guys. So I think it's gonna be another fun year. We're gonna learn a lot. I think from the beginning of the year we'll struggle a little bit, but I feel like we'll be able to be a pretty good team by the start of March for sure.
Absolutely. And the recruiting process itself, is that something that you've enjoyed? Have you been able to keep it at a manageable level to where it is enjoyable? Because I know it can get away. I mean, the contact and all that, sometimes it can be overbearing, but have you been able to keep it manageable to where it's been enjoyable for you?
Yeah. I'm just trying to enjoy life. Just use it. Just be thankful for. I mean, because not every kid gets this opportunity to go through this process, and I'm kind of just trying to enjoy it. And I mean, obviously, there's going to be times where I'm like, I want to just be a kid, hang out. But I think it's been really cool just to be able to talk to different coaches and get a feel of what they like about my game, and kind of just learn about different programs and different schools. So I think it's been a really good experience for me.
When did it sink in that, man, not that you're very good. I don't want you to have to worry about saying that. But when did it sink in that, man, these guys are really paying attention to me, that I can maybe really do something with this? I can take this to a really high level. When was there a moment or a time that's when that dawned on you?
I remember. I definitely thought once I got to high school, there's definitely a little bit more attention drawn towards me. But I'd say, yeah, like kind of like towards sophomore year, that's when I started to get a little bit more attention with all the college coaches kind of starting to flirt and kind of like look at me a little bit more. So I think that's one of the times that's when I for sure started to get.
I think we may have lost him. Let's see
Hello?
if we there we go. We still got
Hello?
you back. All right. There we got you. Yeah, you're
hear
on,
me?
Trey. Go ahead. Yes, Trey, go ahead, buddy. You're on.
Okay. Yeah. I'd say just sophomore year. That's I think that's one of the times when I definitely started to get some more attention. Like I said, once I got to high school, that's when I first was getting a little bit more looks at than I was.
Well, buddy, I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a great time in Los Angeles, and tell Anthony as well. We wish him the best. He's been on with us, but I hope you guys have not only a great time, but success as well. It's fun out there. I love it, but it's a lot more warmer out there.
Yeah, it is. I was talking to my mom. She said it was a little bit more cooler out there, a little more than Indiana right now. So, should be fun and give a good experience in my last AU tournament.
Absolutely. Trey Galloway, man, I cannot thank you enough. Appreciate you. I wish you the best of luck. We'll be following your recruitment and see where that goes for you. But we wish you the absolute best and the best in the upcoming season if we don't get to talk to you before then.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Trey Galloway from Culver Academy, one of Indiana basketball's top targets. Greatly appreciate him joining us here this morning on the program. So stay tuned on Indiana Sports Beat from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back with more right after this.
You can feel it in the streets. On a day like this, the heat, it feels like summer.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Hi, this is AJ Moyer, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you here on this Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week. Tomorrow we head up to Chicago, actually today, but we'll be live Thursday and Friday from Big Ten Football Media Days. Tom Allen will be with us tomorrow, and then who knows after that, it's just going to be a parade. But make sure you join us. Looking forward to that. Archie Miller is going to be in Evansville August 27th at Harrison High School at the Shoulders Family Commons. Make sure you're there for that. Tebow was in town. They had a little bit of Tebow mania up in Indianapolis. His AAA squad was in town. They crushed Indianapolis the other day, 22-1, but I didn't see yesterday's score. But I think Kevin Brockway from CNHI has a story on him probably. So check that out. Anthony Leal from Bloomington South, been on the program yesterday. He gets an offer from the Ohio State Buckeyes as Chris Holtman joins the party. A cadre of offers now to Anthony Leal, including Indiana, Stanford, amongst others. You know, in my mind, in my feeble brain, and it's just my opinion, but there are 3 scholarship openings next year. I think that Trey Galloway, Anthony Leal are going to take a pair of those. I think Matt Cross will end up taking one. A 6'7" wing. Reminds me of kind of a little bit of Will Sheehy. Tim texts in the show, says that Leal and Galloway remind him of Pat Graham. Well, they got a long way to go to be Pat Graham. But they also said that, did you know Pat Graham had a 48.1% three-point average at IU? Yes, I did. Also, his senior year, he averaged 56.9, basically 57%. Sure would like to have another Pat Graham at IU. Who wouldn't? That's the highest single-season total in IU history, that 57%. That's why, to me, he is the greatest shooter in IU history. Bar none. And that's saying something. Pat had a lot of injury problems with his foot, with his diabetes and whatnot. Had he been healthy, I don't know how good he could have been. It's crazy. That dude was just the purest shooter I've ever seen. Now, you know, I had that discussion a while back Yeah, you got to throw Jay Edwards in there. Jay Edwards was a freak too, because not only could he shoot, he could score the ball. He's a unique dude there. And of course, Steve Alford, his lone season with the 3-point shot, I think he shot like 53%. So those are your top 3 shooters of all time. Another text into the show, Pat was saying Bob Knight asked his mom at AAU game if she was okay if he recruited him. She said, he's diabetic. Knight said, if he can play like that, I don't care what he is. There you go. Well, that was the truth, too. Dude's a shooter. I better guarantee he can still shoot the lights out. No doubt. John Rothstein from CBS. He's not as high on Indiana as a lot of the fans are. He put out his little power rankings of Big Ten squads. Indiana did not fare too well. As a matter of fact, I think they ended up 5th from the bottom. Trying to find that list exactly where that thing went to. I just had it in front of me a minute ago. But in front of such teams as Nebraska, Rutgers, Penn State. I can't remember if he had him in front of Illinois or not, but big questions going into next year for Indiana basketball. Still, the national pundits are definitely not on board. And if that were to end up being the case, what John Rothstein has them, that's not a tournament. That's not making the tournament there. You end up in the 8th, 9th spot in the Big Ten. Because the Big Ten's not going to be as strong, I don't think, this year as it was. Had a big, huge jump here recently, but it's kind of fallen back off. You've got a new coach at Michigan. Michigan's going to take a hump. As a matter of fact, Michigan fans were all upset. I think he had Michigan right in front of Indiana. They're like at 8th, and they were just beside themselves with that. But when you have a coaching change, that stuff happens. And it's going to happen. We'll certainly find out, but it's just like on the national recruiting scene. Indiana does not have that cachet right now. Hopefully they can change that. And it doesn't matter what anybody prognosticates. Of course, it matters what happens on the court. But they're basing it on 2 things. They're basing it on what they've seen the last 2 seasons, which is very marginal, mediocre basketball. And that's not stretching it. That's just a fact. It's been very marginal and very mediocre. And they're basing on the fact that they have the 54th ranked recruiting class coming in this year. I mean, Trace Jackson and Armand are great, but they can't do that stuff alone. And they still have not answered the question of shooting, which is something they have been miserable at the last couple of years. Almost worse than school history when it comes to long-range shooting. This is the last. The AAU guys are out in Los Angeles. We talked with Trey Galloway yesterday. You heard that a little bit earlier. They're out in L.A., man. This is their last run in the AAU on the AAU circuit. Anthony Leal's mom was lamenting the fact that this is the last go-around. It's kind of sad for them. They've been doing this for a long, long time, and I'm sure they're glad to get off the road. But it's also sad for those parents as they see that portion of their children's lives coming to a close. But, of course, another great chapter is going to be opening up. I mean, they go and play their high school seasons this year, but next they get to go off to college and play for great teams like Indiana in front of great fans like the Hoosier Nation fans, 17,000 people. So there's a whole nother chapter coming up, but it's still a sad time for them as they wrap up this portion of their basketball careers. It's something they've been doing for a long time, the AAU circuit, and it's done. It will be done after this, so we wish them well. But what a better place to do it than out on the West Coast, man. Have a little fun. Be a good time to do that. Kansas lands a guard, DeJuan Harris. texting the show, why did not recruit him? Probably because they didn't think that they had a shot at him. And you can only try to establish relationships with so many guys. And it's got to work into a manner of which you can scout these guys without it taking away with everything else that you're doing on what you're trying to do. So a number of reasons, I'm sure. But I think Indiana will land Matt Cross, Trey Galloway, Anthony Leal. My personal opinion. The question is going to be that fourth spot. Who's going to fill that fourth scholarship for next year? Point guard R.J. Davis, someone Indiana has made a high priority. Zach Loveday, big guy from Ohio. Jalen Bridges, he's a 6'8" wing. So there's 3 different flavors there. I'm wondering, are they going to push after a point guard since they're trying desperately to get Christian Lander in next year? They don't have a backup to Rob Finney. We saw the results of that last year when he went down with a concussion of having to move guys around into positions that they're not used to playing. That's not good for an offense, especially an offense that I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be doing. But that's the question. I think that Cross, Galloway, and Leal, I think they end up committing to Indiana. Who knows who will be first? Hell, Cross, the outside guy, could be first from up on the Upper East Coast. But who knows what will happen once Galloway and Leal get back from the West Coast after this last AAU swing. Maybe they'll finally decide, hey, I'm done with this. Who knows? They've got a little bit more time, a little more summer left. Time to take some visits. I wonder if Leal will have time to visit, not an official visit, but I wonder if he would visit Stanford while he's out there. It's probably too much going on. Because that's a lot of time for him to have to take another trip back out west. So it'll be interesting to see about that. But Ohio State offers him now. And pulling a kid out of Bloomington is not something foreign to them. Mr. Jallow, remember him? He went to Columbus. I think he's still there. So I think they're a little late to the party, personally. I think everyone's fighting an uphill battle for Leal. I definitely think Indiana has the inside track. And the only thing that would change that is what happens if another guard comes in. But we'll see. We'll certainly see. Hey, we got a lot coming up on the program, like I said. Matt Weaver from Peegs.com is going to join us in the next hour. We'll preview the Big Ten football media days for you, taking place in Chicago the next 2 days. Former Indiana basketball player, good friend of the show, Todd Leary, joins us today as well. We're going to move him up from Friday since we will be in Chicago for the football media days. All that and more coming up next here on Indiana Sports Beat from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett. Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Green. Keep up with the Hoosiers on the Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle here on this midday portion of the week. Welcome to Hump Day from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We got a lot coming up today on the program. Our good friend Matt Weaver from Peegs.com. We're going to preview Big Ten Football Media Days. Our good buddy Todd Leary, former Hoosier baller, will be with us as well. We're going to move him from Friday because we're going to be live from Chicago for the Big Ten Media Days starting tomorrow. So Todd's going to join us today instead. Matt Weaver will help us preview that. Looking forward to that as we get heading in that direction. Tom Allen will be with us tomorrow, so looking forward to Coach Allen joining us. I think it's like the 4th time he's been on with us, so we appreciate Coach Looking forward to talking to some of the IU players as well. Nick Westbrook, who was just nominated for the All-State Good Works team. Congratulations to him. He does a lot of good things. That's working with places like Riley Children's Hospital. So congratulations to Nick Westbrook on that. Good to see that. Hey, for those of you living in the Evansville area listening on the Ref, Archie Miller's going to be in town next month, August 27th. He'll be at Harrison High School at the Shoulders Family Commons. Make sure it's free. Don't have to worry about it. It's all free. Just come down. This is your opportunity to get a little closer to Indiana basketball. That's on the 27th of August. We'll talk about that more as we get closer to that. Doors will open at 5:30. Archie's expected to speak around 6. So mark your calendar for that. And don't forget, if you're in the Bloomington area or anywhere actually in the state of Indiana, Ryan Shadday, R-Y-N-E, Ryan, like Ryan Sandberg, man. Ryan Shadday. Talk to Tucker, talk to Ryan Shadday. He'll help you get the best place to live possible. We'll have his commercial starting to run here soon. We appreciate Ryan coming on, one of the new sponsors for Indiana Sports Beat. Grateful for that. Speaking of Ryan Sandberg and the Cubs, how about Kyle Schwarber, the former Hoosier, with a big walk-off last night? Another blast, his 21st of the season, but I saw Stu Jackson from Rivals post that was his first walk-off in the majors, which surprises me a little bit with the frequency that he hits home runs. I'm surprised that's his first walk-off. But so interesting to see that. Barely made it over the netting. The netting actually caught it, as the announcer said, puts the biscuit in the basket, and he did. As the Cubs win, taking that win back that they had lost the night before to the Reds. First place Cubs as they trying to stay there. Also on that home run last night, I noticed, if you watch the video, there's these two kids that are about to reach down for the ball, and some adult comes in and snatches it away. There was mention of that on social media. That'll make you feel good. You look, and especially once I didn't pay attention to it until I saw that mention, and I went back and watched. I'm like, what a jerk. Let the kids have the ball, man. Kansas picks up DeJuan Harris, the commitment. Texting to the show asking, well, Indiana didn't even offer him. Well, it's probably someone they didn't think they could land. It has to work in. You can't recruit everybody. A lot of time demands for that, and it's got to work out. Tebow was in town. Little Tebow mania up in Indianapolis last couple of days. His Syracuse AAA squad taking on the Indianapolis Indians. Anthony Leal receives an offer from Ohio State as the Buckeyes, the latest to jump in. Number of offers for Anthony Leal thus far. Indiana, of course, one of those. Those guys and his India elite teammates, they're out in Los Angeles with their last go-round of AAU basketball. This is it for them. This is the last hurrah. Trey Galloway, who was on the show yesterday, of course, you heard him earlier. He's out there. Christian Lander. Anthony Leal's mom mentioned that this was the last time around. She's a little sad about it. And you'd think that they'd be happy not to have to do all this traveling anymore, but I get it. It's something that they've done for a long, long time, and this is a chapter in their children's lives that's coming to a close. And although there's another great chapter coming next, you still it's whenever anything changes, it's always a little sad, but the next phase is going to be great as they'll be moving on to college, whether that's IU or someplace else, and playing in front of thousands and thousands of people. So you get to look forward to that. John Rothstein from CBS, he put out his power rankings of the Big Ten, and it's not exactly painting Indiana in a positive light for next season on what they can get accomplished. Of course, like everybody else, Michigan State listed at the top. Michigan State, by many people, picked to win the national championship next year, which doesn't mean anything other than they're probably going to be good. But it's surprising to see Michigan State up there as opposed to a Duke or team that you normally see at the top. But his power ratings, number 2, he's got Maryland. So Maryland back with a vengeance. Surprisingly, he's got Purdue at number 3, followed by the Ohio State Buckeyes, who just offered Anthony Leal. Here's a big shocker. Penn State is at number 5. Wow. That would definitely get them off the schneid, making their first NCAA tournament. That would be huge. Wisconsin at 6, Illinois at 7. I'm not surprised by that at all. Illinois has been building up recruits. They've been Brad Underwood. He's been working it over there. Iowa, number 8, kind of the same thing, but if you're Iowa, are you happy with Fran McCaffrey? If 8th is what you are, that's middle of the pack. Middle of the pack. Michigan drops to number 9. Man, the Michigan fans are all up in arms about that. These are the power ratings by John Rothstein from CBS. So, but that shows you that's change. That's a coaching change. That's a team having a coach that has not coached in college. All kinds of change going on there. Then you find Indiana at number 10. And if that were to be the case, that leaves Indiana out of the NCAA tournament yet again. And if that were to happen, well, let's just say there would be tons to talk about for the next 6 months if that were the case. The last 4 teams listed: Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Northwestern. With Nebraska listed as a sleeper team. Surprised to see Northwestern at the back. Chris Collins has been doing a great job, and I'm surprised to see Minnesota at second to last. Richard Pitino's been really working that program, and I thought doing well. Nebraska's got a new coach. That's not a surprise at all. Rutgers, it's Rutgers. But Indiana's sitting right in front of Rutgers. That's what Indiana is right now. That's got to be a little disappointing to a lot of Indiana fans. Again, this is just John Rothstein's opinion. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. He also went ahead and made his preseason first team, Big Ten team, but I'm not going to get into all that. Although some of the top players that they have, Cassius Winston, Michigan State, listed as player of the year. Remember him from last year, although Indiana handled those guys. Maryland, Anthony Cohen, Ayu Dosunmu from Illinois, Lamar Stevens at Penn State. He's still there. I thought he was gone. And Caleb Weston at Ohio State. Who from IU is closest to making this team? If anyone gets there, it will be because the Hoosiers surprise folks and have a strong season, and that will likely mean that Devontae Green puts it all together and has a breakout senior season. But that's not something he's counting on. So, well, that's John Rothstein's opinion. We'll see how that turns out. But we'll talk to Todd about that a little bit. Todd Leary's going to be on with us here. But joining us next,
opinion, man.
Matt Weaver from Peegs.com will be with us. Yeah, I heard that. Ha. From the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat, back with Matt Weaver from Peegs.com right after this.
I can't see the dawn. Congressman in Washington.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. an incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett. Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. You know what that sound means. Our good friend Matt Weaver, back from vacation. Are you rested, Matt?
I guess so. I mean, when you go on vacation with 4 kids, I'm not sure how much rest you get.
Yeah. Hey, it sounds like you probably need a vacation from the vacation.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that could be rough, man. That's like a job, taking care of 4 kids on vacation, no less, going in 40 different directions.
Yeah.
Ready for the Big Ten football media days in Chicago?
Yeah. Obviously heading up tomorrow, and it's obviously this is kind of the not the start of practice, but kind of the kickoff of the season. Because in a couple of weeks, fall camp will be here. But it's interesting to see if there's any new developments. I mean, I'm not sure how much you would get from this, but any as far as guys who were banged up, Michael Penix, Walt Filior, Samson James, some of the guys who were kind of limited in spring, Devon Matthews, where are they at with their health, and just any kind of developments with the roster if there are any, and anything like that. Fun to talk to the players. I think it's Raekwon Jones, Nick Westbrook, and Coy Cronk. So, to see how they feel like the offseason's gone for the team in the summer and all that. So, it should be fun. It should be interesting.
Yeah, it's I've been talking about football for a minute. We're close, man. We're only like 5 weeks out from the start of camp at Indiana. Their media day is August 1st. Practice starts the following day. But up there this weekend, it's going to be very interesting. It's a lot of storylines this year because there's no definitive. To me, I saw the 247 poll. There's no definitive challenge. I mean, you got Michigan and Ohio State, of course, the big two. But even between those two, it was pretty equally split. I know how Ohio State won that poll by a point, but that puts them up there equal. And then I'm a little surprised by that with the coaching change at Ohio State because you usually have a little drop-off. Even though Ryan Day has been there and been involved in it, he may have been doing a lot more than we even know of. But a little surprising to see Ohio State listed at the top.
Yeah, I did that poll where we ranked them 1 to 7 in the East and West, and the top 3 offensive players, the top 3 defensive players. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I'll say it. I had Michigan number 1 in the East. Just because I think Urban Meyer leaving. I'm not saying Ryan Day's not a good coach. I just don't know. Michigan under Harbaugh's, they haven't taken off. I mean, I think they've had some 10-win seasons. They've been pretty good, but obviously I think people are expecting, a national championship type of run by now. But they're still obviously a really talented team. They've got, a good quarterback coming back, and they lost some guys, some really good defensive players, but they've recruited well. To me, just the unknown with Ohio State, the new coach and how that's going to change things. I mean, their talent obviously is going to be great. We know that, but and then they have Justin Fields coming in, and he was really highly regarded, but he was kind of so I think in the spring, and how will he be this fall? So I just kind of I thought right now I think Michigan's the team to beat in the East.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I was a little surprised to see Ohio State at the top. But I think maybe part of that's because as good as Michigan has been since Jim Harbaugh got there, they haven't gotten to that next level, I think, yet. And so I think a lot of people are waiting for that to happen. But regardless of that, Indiana listed as 5th in that, which is a positive. And is this the year that Indiana can find their way to beat one of those top 4? I think that's a big deal. I think it's definitely possible this year. We'll see if it happens. But who of those top 4, Matt, that could happen to? Who do you think is to me? Penn State may be the most vulnerable in that, but that's going to be a road game and be tough. But of those 4, who do you think is the most possible for that to happen?
Yeah, Penn State. Because they've got good talent. Don't get me wrong. And James Franklin and staff done a good job recruiting there. But McSorley was such a huge part of that team. And I know you look at his stats, and his stats are just so. I think he completed like 50-something% of his passes. But the thing is, he was just one of those guys. I mean, he's one of those guys that it's like a guy in basketball who's 3 for 15, and in the last 2 or 3 minutes he just takes over and wins the game. He could do that. He could make plays at the end. And he was just such a winner. I mean, a ton of respect for that guy. I know talking to Coach Allen at times, he really thought a lot of Trace McSorley because he just kind of has that it factor. I mean, he's not an NFL quarterback, but he's a great college quarterback and a winner. And I'm sure they've got a talented guy. I think it's Sean Clifford, the guy that's going to take over for him. I'm sure he's super talented, but does he have that kind of it factor? Does he have that kind of moxie that McSorley had? I don't know. Now, like you said, if that game was at home, not that Indiana has a great home field advantage, but Penn State does. They do have a great. I mean, I've been there. It's an unbelievable atmosphere. 5 or 10,000 people, and it's loud. It is really a cool place to see a game, and so that makes it tougher. Especially if you're playing, and it's a little bit later in the season, but if you're playing, if one of the younger quarterbacks win that job, that could be a bit of an eye opener for them going into that Happy Valley and, in front of that crowd and playing in front of all that noise. But I would, just as far as from a personnel standpoint, I think that's probably Indiana's best chance. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think I would say that would, in my opinion, would be their best chance of maybe upset one of those 4 teams.
I agree. I see you got a Northwestern team from the West Side coming over to play in Bloomington. I think the Indiana will win that game. But and you look at the West, man, the West is a little jumbled up. Some people, Iowa ends up winning that poll, but that's also, it's like you just throw the dice in the tumbler and let them roll out because Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, all kind of just sitting there. There's just no real dominant team in the West at all. And I'm really surprised to see Purdue down at 6th.
Yeah, I had on that side, I picked Iowa. And the reason why is I think Wisconsin, I don't pay as much attention to the West just because, covering Indiana, I only really pay attention to the teams that Indiana's going to play from that side each year. And obviously Purdue, it's every year, but I only kind of pay. So this year it's Nebraska and Northwestern. But Wisconsin's schedule, they've got a much tougher draw when it comes to the crossover games. I believe they have to play Ohio State. I can't remember. I just remember looking at their schedule, and that to me kind of tipped it in Iowa's favor. Nebraska, I thought about them, but it's what is it, year two or three for Scott Frost. And he's got a really dynamic, exciting quarterback in Martinez. Their defense was kind of up and down. I just haven't seen enough. I didn't feel comfortable. I can't remember where I had them. Purdue, obviously, Jeff Brom has done terrific things up there, him and his staff. But for me, they lost. They're losing a bunch of O-linemen. And his offense is good, but if you can't block, it's tough to run things. And until I can see them, their line play, their defense actually might be the strength of their team this year because they got Lorenzo Neal back at D tackle, Marcus Bailey. They got some guys who can play, some guys in the secondary. Obviously, their skill players with Rondell Moore and the receivers they got are fantastic. But they lost their running back. Sindelar has kind of had an up and down career. He's coming off injury. And like I said, he's not a real mobile guy, and now you're going to have a brand new O-line in front of him. It could be a recipe for struggling at times. So, I think I had them down a little bit. I don't think I had them. I don't know where I had them actually. I might have had them 5th or 6th, but and that side, you're right. It's kind of a toss-up. The top 3 or 4 teams you can kind of put in a hat and pull one out, and you might be right.
And one of the unique, I guess, one of the games that really just shines for me on Indiana's schedule this year is a trip to Lincoln to take on Nebraska for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's just a historic venue. You're playing at one of the greatest college pro football programs in the country. Although they've been on, some down times here of late, Scott Frost has brought the excitement back to them. But they are primed because they're not there yet. If this was any place else, you're like, man, Indiana's got a shot here. So it's going to be, because I think Indiana's offense is going to be pretty prolific this year. And I think they're going to knock off somebody they're not supposed to beat. And why not go to Lincoln and knock off Nebraska?
Yeah, I've never been there. Obviously, you've seen it on TV. And I want to say, I could be wrong on this, but I think they've had like a bunch of sellouts in a row, like years and years, which is, pretty impressive considering they've had some, for their standards, kind of lean years, kind of similar to IU basketball where, for them going, 6-6, 7-5 is, that's not at all what they're accustomed to. So, but it looks like another fantastic venue, where it's just really raucous and everybody's into it. Martinez is a scary player because if he can really throw the ball, but he can really run. So if you do a bad job containing him and let him get out of the pocket, it could be a long day. It's only been, it's just such a small sample size with Frost there, Coach Frost. That it's just, that could be a game. I think last year they had games where they kind of played well against the people, and then they had games where they kind of looked. It's a thing where he's redoing the roster, and this is going to happen when you come in with a new staff and you're kind of changing personnel on the fly. You're going to have some of these kind of up and down inconsistent performances. So without seeing them, it's kind of tough. But that could be a game where Indiana could go in there. Just I think that's a little bit later in the year too, where they could go in and maybe give them a good fight. To me, the key game on the schedule, if you get the 4 that you should get, the 3 non-conference and Rutgers. I've said it before. The key game on the schedule means at Maryland. That kind of to me is the game where you kind of have to get that one. That gives you hopefully that'd be your 5 wins. Now you got 7 chances to get one other win, and you would think that they could hopefully do that.
Yeah, I remember the last time they traveled over to Maryland. It was a game that Indiana was actually, I don't know if they were favored, but in my mind, I expected them to win that game, and it just didn't happen. Indiana did not perform in that game, but they have to do that. This is a year I think they have to perform in those kind of games. Tom Allen has done such a great job on building this program truly from the ground up, whether through recruiting and just changing the entire environment and getting the coaches that he wants to have. And these guys are all bought in. But I think that now they have to win those kind of games this year.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, if you go 5-7 again, on paper, it's not a step back, but in reality, it is. Because in my opinion, in sports with teams, in basically any level, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's really no status quo. There's really no neutral. I mean, you're either getting better or you're not. And if you go 5-7 for the third year in a row, to me, it's a bit of a step back. It's 6-6 and 5-7 are not a huge difference, and 6-6 probably not going to put you in a real prestigious bowl game. But as far as the perception, as far as what it does for your program, it's a pretty big step. I mean, it shows, it validates what you're doing. It shows recruits, it shows people that the progress is being made, and that you're really on your way. And if you look down the future, they're going to have a lot of returning players on this team for the next couple of years. So it really sets you up to maybe, in 2020, 2021, really be a team that can maybe make some noise with a more of a veteran team. Whoever your quarterback is, if one of the young guys wins it, they're going to be experienced. Obviously you're going to lose some people at different positions, but they've recruited well, and this really gives you some momentum. So to me, it's really a key year. I don't want to say it doesn't torpedo the program if you don't go to a bowl game, but man, it puts you in a tough spot going forward as far as trying to get some momentum and some mojo back as far as recruiting and everything else.
Yeah, I agree with you. Exactly everything that you said. And being an Indiana football fan, is kind of like being a Cubs fan. I feel like a Cubs fan if I were doing that, but there's just so much reason for optimism this year on this football team. I mean, man, all the parts we've talked about relentlessly, the quarterback room, the receivers, the running backs. But the biggest key is the new offensive coordinator that has done great things wherever he has been. So I think that with all that together, there's just a lot of room for optimism on this for this team, period.
Yeah. And I've said this before, what I like about when you look at Kalen DeBoer, there's verifiable proof where he's gone into a situation and they've immediately improved in a number of offensive categories. He didn't need like a year or two, or he didn't need to get in his own players. He took whatever they had, and kind of like what Tom Allen did on defense a few years ago when he came in as a D coordinator. It's not like they brought in a bunch of new guys. I mean, obviously you had new recruits, but it's not like it's not like NFL where you're signing free agents and you're getting some immediate impact guys. Indiana was getting the same kind of recruits that they had been getting, but they took off defensively, and I think the same thing. I look for the same thing to happen on offense because it's not just talent, but it's experienced talent. Now the O-line, you're going to have three guys, Coy Cronk, Hunter Littlejohn, and Simon Stepniak, who have started a bunch of games. And then Harry Kreider's played quite a bit in his 2 years at IU. Obviously, right tackle position is the one where it looks like Caleb Jones probably right now in pencil is the starter, but that's that can change in fall camp. But he's got a lot of upside. When we've seen him, he's a humongous human being. It's like standing next to a skyscraper, and he's got all the ability in the world. But hopefully he can put it together. And if he can, I like their O-line. We like we talked about the running backs. They're loaded, receiver, tight end. They've got a lot of talent there. And then quarterback will be interesting to see what happens there. But I think Coach Kalen DeBoer is going to do a good job of this offense, and I expect him to have the same kind of impact this year that Tom Allen did. 2016 or whatever, the first year he came in and was the D coordinator.
Yeah, and I think about the different places that Kalen DeBoer has been to when he goes in that first year. I wonder if any of those was a better situation than this one, that's stepping in with the talent that's there. I mean, this may be as much talent as he's ever had in a first-year job.
Yeah, I can't remember what the record was previously in Eastern Michigan, but Eastern Michigan has historically been one of the most difficult places to win in college football. They just for whatever reason, it's been really, really tough to win there. And I think they went to that when he was on that staff. They went to a bowl game. It was like the first time in a couple decades, I think, or something. It was a really, it was a big deal. And then the year before he got to Fresno State, I want to say they were 1-11. And obviously Jeff Tedford, who's a really good offensive coach, is the head coach there. But, I know Kalen DeBoer had a lot of freedom, and he was in charge of a lot of what they did on offense. And like I said, at both places, immediately there was immediate improvement and significant improvement, not just a little bit. I mean, it was kind of like with Tom Allen when he came in, and Indiana went from like the worst defense or one of the worst in the country to like top 40 in one season with basically the same players. So, like you said, he's walking into. I mean, you got some guys on this team that are all conference. Coy Cronk, Nick Westbrook, Stevie Scott. There's guys. Donovan Hale had a really good spring. Walt Fillior's talented. They got a lot of guys. He's got a lot of pieces. It's not like he's got to try to, do stuff with mirrors and try to trick people. He's got the kind of things where he can line up and run what he wants to run and be productive.
Looking forward to it, Matt. Looking forward to seeing you in Chicago. Have a safe trip, and we'll see you probably in a few hours or soon enough.
Okay. Take care, man. Thank you.
You bet. Matt Weaver from Peegs.com is where you can find him. We appreciate Matt joining us each week as he does. Hey, coming up next from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Todd Leary, former Indiana basketball player, is going to join us on a Wednesday since we'll be in Chicago for the Big Ten football media days the next 2 days. So stay tuned. We're back with more and Todd Leary here on Indiana Sports Beat right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Hi, this is AJ Moye, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Thought I might hear the theme from The Godfather since the Todd Father is with us, Todd Leary. How you doing, brother?
Boss? Can you hear me?
I can hear you always.
Cool. This is going to throw my whole week off being on here on Wednesday. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow thinking it's the weekend.
Well, just make it a 4-day holiday.
I like it. I'm in on that. I don't know if my workplace would love that or not.
Just tell them I said it was okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll work. What's the summer been like for Todd Leary, man? What have you been doing in your fresh new digs of Evansville, Indiana?
I have seen a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a long time and met some new people here in town and celebrated Pat Graham's birthday last week. That was kind of fun.
Did he have cake?
No, it's a different kind of cake now. It tasted more like a shot.
Yeah, I saw the post on there that Pat Graham just gets older, and I keep staying the same, it seems like.
Yeah, me too. I said the same thing. I mean, he's been great since he was 25, though, so you can't really tell he's getting any older.
Yeah, that's true. So, we both went to Floyd Central. I'm like, I graduated before him back then, but all of a sudden he somehow has passed me up. I don't know how that's happened, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Because mentally we haven't matured, so I think you and I are kind of stuck back in our immature days.
You've never said anything true in your life about me. I got news for you. That's a fact. But I saw Archie Miller's going to be coming to Evansville next month at Harrison High School, and I think that is his first visit, other than maybe a recruit to see Christian Lander. But his first visit to Evansville Evansville is a big-time Indiana area.
Yeah, it is. The couple of pockets outside of that Indianapolis and Bloomington area, both Fort Wayne and Evansville are inundated with IU fans and alumni. And, I have spent a little bit of time down here prior to moving here 6 weeks ago, but not an enormous amount of time. And I'm pretty shocked at how many Indiana fans and especially Indiana basketball fans there are down here. So it's, I think after he ends up making this visit, I think it'll be more of a regular thing coming down here. I think he'll realize what a huge fan base there really is down here.
Well, not only that, you've got talent there. I mean, obviously, you can go back to, of course, Calbert Cheney's from there, but a lot more than that. And right now, you got, of course, Christian Lander at Evansville Rights. You got the kid Hemingway that went to Clemson, I think.
Yep.
And Kyron Powell. There's just always talent there. It's a great pool of talent on top of being a great fan base.
Yeah, and there's some good coaches down here. I think that probably leads to it. There's some good high school coaches around here, and they came up with an AAU program several years ago that started out of Evansville, and that's really helped the development as well, I think. So it got a lot of the kids that were from this area to be able to travel across the country and play against some top talent, which always the experience of that really helps players develop and kind of realize what they need to improve on and what other guys in the country are able to do. They read about these guys all the time, and so to go play against them, I think really helps out. In the Pocket City program they had down here out of Evansville, I think it's still around, but I know when my son was in it, we played a bunch against them, and they that program I think also helped the development of the high school kids around here.
You know, I've seen here of late Lance Stemler is associate head coach at Providence High School up in Clarksville, and I know Pat Graham helps out with Memorial there. Any thoughts of dipping your toe in little coaching ranks?
Nope, none.
Let's stop and think about it for a second.
Yeah. Hang on. Nope, still no.
Is that just you're done with that and you want to contribute in other ways, or is just coaching is not something you're really that interested in?
Coaching where this is going to sound horrible because I'm a parent, but coaching where there's parents involved and the political side of that, I guess I should just say high school and AAU coaching is just something I don't have any interest in. And when you got to the point where it's big time, or it's college, or if it's NBA, where it's a profession and a job, you can handle that better because you can explain. You can explain to people why they don't play as much or why they don't have as big a role as they think they do. When it's a child, I just never like being involved in that. There's so many kids that develop at different rates and different times that I struggle with that. So I don't want to be a part of any kid being disappointed or not having the opportunities that maybe their parents think they should have. And, it's just my way of weaseling out of it. But obviously those guys that choose to do that, man, my hat's off to them. And they have a thankless job a lot of times. So I don't hardly ever say anything bad about high school or AAU coaches. Well, AAU coaches I do.
I think it was a baseball team, maybe a travel team, but the head coach, he brought on 9 assistant coaches, one for
all the parents,
every parent for every position. He said, "You're coaching that position." And it was, I'm like, that's hilarious. That's great.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because he was sending a message, but parents just always seem to think that they know more than them. And sometimes maybe they do, but generally it's not the case. But especially when it comes to their kid, they always seem to know what's better for that team when their kid is on it. And it makes it difficult, I think, for the kids to develop as much as they could probably.
It does. And you know what? It's human nature. Hey, I'm going to stick up more for my kid than I am anyone else. And, when you have a dad coaching, I mean, that's an almost impossible situation to put someone in to say, treat everyone fairly when your child is one of them. So it just, I don't, people who blame someone for that, I think are not really being realistic about it, because I'm the first one to tell you it'd be very difficult for me to be completely objective about coaching my own son with a bunch of other kids. And so and then you add to it the amount of time that goes into it. I mean, that is something that parents who haven't coached or don't spend a lot of time coaching, they have no idea the amount of time, not only in practice and games and traveling to and from, but also in preparation for that. I mean, coaches that really take it seriously, I mean, there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. I know when we would go on AAU trips, I mean, everybody would be talking about going to dinner or lunch and doing these things. And I was always going back to the gym to watch the team that we were getting ready to play next or could possibly play tomorrow or in the championship or whatever it was. So there's a lot of preparation that goes into it, and just the amount of time is enormous that it takes up. And it's most of the time an unpaid volunteer position. And then you get a bunch of people that think you suck at it and think they could do a better job. And it just creates a tough atmosphere all around.
Absolutely. And speaking of AAU, I was talking to Trey Galloway yesterday, one of the IU targets. Anthony Leal's been on the show, and his mom was talking that, they're all out in Los Angeles right now for their last AAU event. This is it for them, and it's over. It's come to a close, and she was sad about that. But when your AAU career came to an end, do you remember it really, that's something coming to an end, or were you just more excited about what laid ahead?
No, I wasn't. It wasn't. It's not quite what it is now. I mean, believe me, with our Indiana Faith program and the way that we traveled all over the country, you develop, you see all the time kind of cliche statements about this is my AAU family or my baseball family or my basketball family or whatever it is. You travel and spend so much time with these people. It's amazing that it really does get to that point. And, you miss that side of it. I can tell you to this day, I miss traveling and hanging out with the families and the parents and everybody, we developed a really strong bond that it is kind of a second family. And so that part of it I do miss, and I did miss at that point. We traveled like the Lakers when I was able to play in our Bloomington Red team. I mean, we traveled as good as an AAU team can travel. And then with the Indiana Faith program, we've been very fortunate to be able to do the same thing. So I have been extremely blessed from the standpoint of enjoying and it becoming a memorable situation and a positive, memorable situation when it comes to AAU and that both when I played and when I coached. So I do miss that side of it quite a bit. But as a player, once you graduate from that into you're heading off to college, there's so many things to look forward to and so many new experiences that you're getting ready to take part in that, it's not like they're going to sit back, they'll miss it more when they're 40 than they will when they're 19 and 20.
Yeah, I think the parents will probably miss it more, and for good reason. I didn't look at it from that standpoint, but they've been with these other parents for all this time, and they're at the games. They're with them. They probably do things together. They probably cook out or whatever, go to eat together, and all that stuff comes to an end too, because these guys are going to go off to college, most of them at different places, and not only that, once they're at college, they're not as involved like they were during the AAU. It's the school. It's a school thing now, and they're kind of back behind the scenes. So that it's mainly coming to an end for the parents.
That's exactly right. And believe me, there's a lot of parents that this kind of turns into their second college life. There's a lot of drinking and a lot of shots and a lot of laughs and fun times. And it's kind of a nice little getaway. I mean, I can tell you, I continue to bring it up at the Indiana Faith program and what we were able to do with parents. I still get parents that, I stopped coaching back in the 8th grade that we still text back and forth. And when one of the, Riley Bertram playing for the University of Michigan in the College World Series. I mean, he was a kid that was in our Indiana Faith program, and just being able to text back and forth with his parents, watching him play on ESPN and the College World Series. And, he's a kid from Zionsville that is just from an unbelievable, terrific family. And that kind of experience is what we miss. I mean, that's that fun part, but seeing these kids grow up and, he's out there as a freshman in the College World Series and you can see his leadership qualities and everything that, I feel a small part of being able to help develop and be a part of. And that's an extremely satisfying feeling. And there's some big parts of it that are awesome that you definitely miss. And I will guarantee you the parents miss a lot of that travel stuff more than the kids do.
Well, they can't be that good of a family. They let their kid go to Michigan instead of going to IU.
Yeah, no, they really are. So I don't know. There's a glitch. There's just a glitch in the family somewhere. But
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He is totally kidding, but it's surprising that as good as IU's team, it's a little surprising. But but IU's baseball. You follow baseball, or is that just a relationship thing? Because Indiana's baseball teams have been pretty good.
Well, at that time of the year, there's not a whole lot on, and so I watch a lot of the College World Series. If you think back over the last few years, just because of the timing of everything, and there's not tons on TV at that point. But I mostly followed it this year because of Riley. He was Michigan had a kind of a cool run, and they were a fun team to watch play a little bit. Obviously, I wish it would have been IU. But Riley made it fun for us to keep track of, and there were the whole Indiana Faith group. I know we were all texting kind of with the Bertram family and just checking in on how everything was going and following their experiences through text message.
Yeah, well, at least Indiana has Kyle Schwarber hitting that big walk-off homer for the Cubs last night.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I've got another life, actually, buddy. Believe it or not, there's more to sports for me. I'm burying
I cannot
people,
believe
doing all
that.
kinds of fun stuff.
I cannot believe that. No, it was a good night for Indiana former baseball players. Not only that.
I know it. I like the Cubs, and my sons like the Cubs a bunch, so they are always keeping me up to date on how Schwarber's doing.
Yeah, I'm a Reds fan. I hated to see it, but I'm glad for Schwarber. But I was like, no. But it's crazy on. But what's going on next for you? You more golf? You ready to play some golf?
I am ready to play some golf. I think I sent you a text and invited you to play sometime. Well, I invited you to invite me to play. I asked you to invite me to play. Is really how it came down. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself with that.
Always ready, brother. Always ready, man. I can't thank you enough. I hope the rest of your week is good. And don't forget, you have to actually go to work tomorrow. You can't sleep in. It's not Saturday.
Yeah, I know it. It's going to be tough, but I'll make the adjustment. Set my alarm or something.
All right, brother. We appreciate you. Have a good rest of the week.
All right, boss. See you. Thanks.
Thank you, Todd Leary, former Hoosier ball player, joining us as he always does. I always love talking to Todd. He's a character, man. He's a character. I think he's going to be the next mayor of Evansville. It will not take him long for the entire community to slide over to the Todd father. He's great. But that's going to almost put a bow on things for us today. Now, realize that we're going to be coming to you live for the rest of the week from Chicago. The Big Ten Football Media Days begin tomorrow. I think that Tom Allen, if you're going to watch on the BTN, he comes up around 1:30, 1:45, I think. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but it will be after that. But they've got an all-day thing going on. You've got 7 coaches that are going to be up on Thursday. You got 7 more that are going to be up on Friday. IU's coach is up. Tom Allen is on Thursday. He'll be on with us tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So look for that as well. And we'll see what else we can scare up. There's going to be all kinds of we'll have the Fox guys, Fox TV guys on. We're just all kinds of stuff up there. It's just crazy. So looking forward to doing all that for the rest of the week. So excited about that. And excited to have Matt on. Look forward to seeing Matt up there. But we'll see, get some questions out of Tom. See who's, at least we're not going to get a starter, but find out at quarterback how everything is. Is Michael Penix, is he up and ready to go? Is he full health? So we'll certainly find out. Tim texted into the show, does Coach Allen keep us in the dark on the starting QB this year until a couple of days before the first game? And does he favor experience, as in Ramsey, or bring in Tuttle or Penix? Well, I can tell you this. I do not think that Ramsey is going to be your starter. I think he's had 2 years to lead the team, in my opinion, and he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. But as far as what they're going to need, I think he's had his shot, and we're going to see, I think, either Tuttle or Penix. Now, which of those two? I have no idea. We haven't had – and I don't think that Tom Allen knows, to be honest with you right now, because until fall camp starts and they play and he sees Penix at full speed and sees Tuttle out there and Ramsey. I mean, Ramsey's got a shot. He's got 2 years of experience, which that's going to help him a lot, no doubt. But I just simply think that the arm strength alone of Tuttle and Penix is going to put them over the top, because it's something that Indiana's offense has definitely and sorely lacked the last 2 years. It's what held them back last year. The inability to throw downfield, to stretch the defense, made a huge difference. Look how many games they lost by a touchdown or less. How many times they were close in games, but not having that ability is a game changer. So with the new offensive coordinator, Kalen DeBoer, I just truly expect to see, unless Peyton Ramsey has done wonders with gaining arm strength, I just think it's going to be one of the other two. I think it's going to be Penix or Tuttle, just because this offense is ready to break out, and it's going to have all the parts it needs to do so. But we're looking forward to see what we can find out from Tom, and there's going to be several guys up there, players like you heard earlier from Matt, Raekwon Jones, Corey Crunk, Nick Westbrook. Nick Westbrook also just nominated as All-State Good Works team, so congratulations on that. You've got Stevie Scott, who is on the Maxwell Award list. So all kinds of good parts and pieces, man, to put into play. We're looking forward to it. But looking forward to coming to you from Chicago live tomorrow. So make sure the Golf Club Meeker Point Studios, we're moving north. Stay tuned. That's going to wrap it up for today. For Jake, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.